Hi, I'm Martin, and welcome to Upgrade Your Day, the podcast.
Back in the day, we weren't given the opportunity to learn all about these things. And if somebody had reached out to me as a child and said, mate, I think there's something going on here, I think you might have ADHD, my life would have been completely different. We get in before sunrise, so we generally get in the dark and the sun comes up when we're in the water. And that is far and away, despite the fact that it's shark feeding time, far and away.
No, don't brush over that. Hang on a second. Shark feeding time. So today we are talking all things cold water swimming. Even those words, cold water, make me shiver. But we are going to chat to Olivia Wilson from Australia. She started cold water swimming, I think it was last year, we'll find out in the chat. And her social media full of beautiful pictures of the Australian coastline looking absolutely stunning, and I'm desperate to find out her experiences of what it's like to go swimming in the early hours of the morning. And I dipped my toe, as it were, into cold water swimming a couple of years ago, and it's been a bit on and off for me, so I want to hear what she has to say about it, some hints, some tips. I can't wait to go live to Australia today. This could be our first international podcast, actually, thinking about it. But I do want to just take this moment to say thank you so much for all your messages. I think we've done over 20 episodes now, and I love reading your messages. I love hearing what you think about the podcast. So please do, if you want to send me a little message commenting on anything, just send it my way. It's always lovely to read nice, positive things. And if you don't like the podcast, then there's many more you can listen to. I just had to say that. The yin and the yang, you know what I mean? The yin and the yang. Here's Olivia from Oz. So we are live to well, not live if you're listening to this, but I am live right now to Australia.
I hope we're not live.
Olivia did say to me, you will edit this, won't you? You will edit it. I was like, yes, don't worry. We are. What time is it there, Olivia?
Over here, it is 3 minutes past 7 in the evening. Isn't that weird?
So listen, just first of all, just explain a little bit about where you're living, how long you've lived there, and you can talk about how we met if you want. Just have a little explain to the listeners.
Okay, well, I am coming not live from Melbourne, Australia. Moved over to Australia 8 years ago now. It's just unbelievable. It's just gone so quickly. Moved to Sydney, stayed in Sydney for 2 years, and then moved to Melbourne. And it's amazing. We love it. Weirdly, it just feels like home to us, despite the fact that it's 10,500 miles away from our home.
Oh, yeah.
But we feel really settled here, and the children are settled. And yeah, I mean, it's a great lifestyle. So for us, you know, the drag of friends, 100% every day, I'm like, oh my God, I miss my friends. That's probably for me the worst thing about living so far away. But you know what? I just look at the kids and the things that they're able to get up to, and you know, we live across the road from the beach. There's no comparison to, I guess, what our lifestyle would be like in the UK to what it is here. And that's nothing against the UK by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, it's all they've really known as well. So for us, they were so young when we moved out here, only 6 and 3. So they haven't really known any different than getting up and there's a big blue sky outside the window, and you know.
And Melbourne is the arty area, isn't it? Is that a known thing in Australia? What do people in Australia think of Melbourne?
Yeah, I think Melbourne is famous, I guess, primarily for its coffee. We have amazing coffee in Melbourne.
Okay.
But also, I guess, compared to other cities in Australia, I'm probably going to get completely slammed for this. But yes, we are renowned for our our art, our live music, our theatre. We're really, we're kind of the most European, I guess, city in Australia.
Yeah. It's so weird because we've known one another for like 25 years, I guess. And we met at Chichester when we both went to college there. And like you say, you've been there for 8 years, but you are absolutely Australian. Your accent is full on Kath and Kim. I love it.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, the kids are full. I mean, they are Australian. That's it, done and dusted. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really interesting. It's so interesting when I talk to friends that have moved away. Even in the UK, when somebody moves, especially a friend of mine that moved down to Bristol, and like suddenly after about 5 years, they start talking with a West Country accent. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I'm not sure what's worse, a Brizzle accent or an Aussie accent.
It was hilarious. And what I would say, you talked about how close you were to the beach. So how long does it take you to walk to the beach from where you are?
Probably about 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh. So this brings us very nicely onto your cold water swimming, which I am desperate to ask you about, because do you do it every morning? What's your sort of schedule with that?
Every single day. And it's quite bizarre, really, because I'm always the person who on family holidays is sat on the side. I wouldn't even get in a swimming pool, to be honest, unless it was 45 degrees outside.
I kind of remember that about you.
Yeah, I was always cold, and I really felt the cold. So it just so happened that one day I was coming out the school gates, and one of the mums at school was like, "Hey, Liv, we're going, we swim every morning. You should come with us." I think they'd started during COVID, so during all the lockdowns, because in Melbourne, we were really locked down for a long time. And the majority of the 5 kilometre radius that we had was water. So everyone started swimming. So, they were like, "Oh, I know, you should come with us, give it a go." And I'm like, "Oh, no, I don't do cold water. Oh, gosh, no, not me." And then I thought, you know what? Stop being a wimp. Just go and do it. It was December, so it was summer here. And I was like, oh, my God, if you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. And I think I'm on day 426 or something now.
Wow. And so what time in the morning do you do this?
So generally we get in before sunrise. So we generally get in the dark, and the sun comes up when we're in the water. And that is far and away, despite the fact that it's shark feeding time, far and away.
No. Don't brush over that. Hang on a second. Shark feeding time.
Yeah, well, I have heard that sharks generally feed at dawn, just before the sunrise. That could be a total lie. And people will say, "Oh, you don't get sharks in the bay here," but we absolutely do. And I mean, there hasn't been a shark attack in the bay for years and years and years, probably ever, actually. But there are sharks in the bay.
Okay.
So we go when the sharks are hungry, and we've not seen one yet.
And do you go?
You know what?
Go on.
It adds a little. Oh my God! Any Australian listening to this is going to go, "This woman is insane. You don't get sharks in Melbourne." It does add a bit of spice to it for me, because I'm thinking, is today the day when I'm going to get bitten by a shark? It's not going to happen.
Olivia, this is terrifying. This is like every day starts with a horror story.
Oh God, no! But do you know what? I actually wear a thing called a shark band, because I'm paranoid about sharks, being British, being in Australia. So I've invested in a shark band, right? So it's this band that I wear on my wrist or around my ankle, and it sends out like probably nothing, but a magnetic pulse or something.
Is it like flashing and bleeping, and all the other Aussies are like, "Oh, here she comes."
Yeah, here she comes down the beach with her Union Jack swimmers on.
Flashing away.
So it's... But it definitely took me a long time to pluck up the courage to just swim out, leave the beach and just swim out.
Right, and hang on. So how far out do you go?
Oh, we probably go out about 300 meters.
Wow.
So not a huge, not super far, but enough that you're, quite away from shore. And
yes.
And it's beautiful. And some mornings we get pods of dolphins, and the wildlife is amazing. But just being in the ocean when it's silent and the sun is rising is, it's hard to even describe. It is like nothing else I have ever done. And I was never a spiritual person. I was never into, crystals and, whatever. But this has definitely been, I don't want to be that cliche. Oh yeah, a cold water swim and it's like life changing. I don't want to be that person, but I am so that person, because every time I get in the water and the sun comes up, I go, oh my God, guys, the sun's coming. Like, yeah, it comes up every morning.
Yes, just turn that shark alarm off, Olivia. Thank you. We can enjoy it in peace.
But I can't help it. I like turn my body and I like put my arms up. That orange glow of the sun, it's just so powerful for me. I just feel it all the way through my body.
And you shouldn't give yourself a hard time, because it's cliched for a reason, I think that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Even you've probably read, like, I'm starting to discover crystals, and I talked about crystals on one of my podcasts, and whether it's got the placebo effect, whether it actually means anything.
Yeah.
But if it means something to you, if putting on a crystal band makes you wake up in the morning and go, I'm putting this on and it's going to give me everything I need today, and you want to put that into it, that's absolutely fine. Why not? If it makes you a better person, makes you kinder, makes you enjoy your day more, then what is wrong with that? I think there's nothing.
I totally agree. And I'm definitely I've got crystals all over the place, and I'm forever, shoving frankincense in the children's faces and come on, we've got to do this. We've got to get all this, all the bads out of here. But I definitely think the cold water swimming has not only does it set me up for the day, right? So if I don't do it, I feel miserable. It also has, I guess, proven to me that I can stick with something. I can have a routine that I do every single day, and I don't miss it, because it's not. I haven't ever been very good at that. So I haven't ever been very good at sticking with things, or I'm quite flighty, I guess. Even moving to Australia, it was like, oh, should we go? Oh yeah, all right. Oh, come on then, pack the bags, let's go. We just kind of did it.
I remember very well. We're off to Australia next Tuesday. Oh, lovely. How long for? Forever.
Yeah, that cold water is good for so many different reasons. It's good for you, your immune system, your mental health, just like everything. It's just a really powerful. It's a really small thing that you can do that can have a massively positive impact on loads of areas of your life. Whatever the routine is, whether it's jumping in, a cold bath because you're not very close to the ocean, or whether it's, going out for a walk every single day, whether it's rain, hail, or shine, it's basically committing to yourself that, do you know what? I am going to do that, and I am going to do that for myself. And actually, on the days when it is the hardest, when it's winter here and it's 1 degree and the ocean is like howling, those are the days when it's even more powerful. Those days when you really can't, and you can hear the wind and you can almost feel the salt hitting you before you get to the beach. Those are the days when you're like, oh my God, I did it. And I did it. And it is so invigorating, because it's crazy that I did that, but it feels so much better than this morning when it's flat as a pancake out there and it's a beautiful still morning. And it's still great, but the days when it's really hard are the days that I think are the most important to get out there and do it.
And every day is a new surprise, isn't it? You just never know what it's going to be doing. You never know what you're gonna see, how it is, how it turns out. Obviously here, I'm not near the sea, but I went sea swimming last year that I put on my social media down in Brighton, and there's a lot of people in a certain stretch of beach, lots and lots of people. I don't think there was any kind of like lifeguards, but everybody had their like little floats that they can carry with them and all that sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it felt really safe because there was lots of people around and lots of people that had been swimming, were sat on the beach, just chilling out. And I absolutely loved it. And I felt very safe. So I think that's important as well, to remember that if you want to go see swimming, you have to be careful, because do you go by yourself or with other people? How does that work?
No, there's two. Most of the time there's two of us that go together. And also we're swimming in a bay. So although it's a huge bay, it doesn't feel, it's not like open ocean.
Yeah.
It's also, we're also not a wave beach, so we haven't got, huge waves or anything like that. Right. But it's definitely, cold water swimming can be really dangerous, because they say you should do, for every degree of the water, you should do 1 minute. So, if the water's only 9 degrees, you shouldn't really be in the water any longer than 9 minutes, sorry.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So, and very quickly, I know people here who've had hypothermia from swimming in the winter, and very quickly you lose coordination, your brain starts to go a bit crazy, you start slurring your words. So if that is to happen to you when you're out in the ocean, that is incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not something that anybody should, just jump in and do, but it's definitely something, if you do it every single day, you definitely become acclimatized to the cold water for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not something I wouldn't say, middle of December in the UK, go and jump in the ocean and splash around for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That is not going to make you feel good.
No, absolutely not. It's
probably going to put you in a coma.
It's definitely worth doing a little bit of research, finding out what's what, and even contacting like groups as well, because we have Bray Lake here and they have a professional setup. I think there's even like a coffee shop.
Yes.
They have the whole shebang, and you can go there and start with like lessons in a way, not necessarily lessons in swimming, but how to go about cold water dunking.
That's a great idea. Yeah. I think there's also a really nationwide in the UK, they've got a group called the Blue Tits.
Yeah.
And they started by a group of women, and they do it all over the country, and they're all over Facebook, and you can just jump on and say, I live in wherever, and they'll show you point you in the right direction of the nearest group. And they're really good, and they're always doing stuff and having coffee on the beach together and stuff.
I think when I was gigging in Cornwall last year, what I also did, I didn't necessarily go swimming, but I did find there's quite a lot of rock pools. So I did kind of treat it like it's my own personal little sauna, my little jacuzzi.
That's so
and
funny.
I just dunked myself in a little rock pool, because actually there's less water than obviously the ocean, and it warms up a little bit as well, so that the sun in the summer is kind of a little warmer, but it's still cold, if that makes any sense.
And it's still salt water too.
Yeah.
So it's still really good for you.
Glorious.
Yeah.
So if you can't go swimming in the sea, if you're away for work or whatever it may be, do you take a cold shower? Have you gone down that route as well?
I'd find a swimming pool, or I do try and swim every day. The other girl that swims with me, she'll jump in anywhere. She'll jump into a lake, whatever she can find, a stream, bubbling brook. But yeah, I'm a little bit more frightened to just jump into some random muddy river, especially in Australia. I've got to be crocodiles in it for all I know.
Oh, you have to get another band.
Oh God, that'd be a whole different podcast. Yeah. So cold water, definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Because I've tried to do the whole cold shower thing, and I generally just can't do it. It's just first in the morning as well, just to get into a cold shower. It's too much. It's too much, Olivia.
Yeah. I think again, it's something you need to acclimatize your body to. So rather than just going, oh, right, well, I read in this book that cold showers are really great. Right, whack it straight onto cold, Monday morning, straight in. Yeah. I think maybe just like turn it down a little bit every day. And then, because your body has to get used to it. Although the shock is part of the exhilarating benefit, but not if it makes you feel terrible.
Much more enjoyable to head into the sea, really.
The ocean does have something really magical about it, especially that time of day too, when there's nobody else around and it's, not quite light. And there's definitely there's definitely something really special about it. I don't think I was depressed or anything like that, but I had, all sorts of things going on. And I think the being in the water has it sort of drags you out and puts you in a totally different world for a while. And it kind of brings you, I guess it kind of brings you back to, what's important. You feel so small in the ocean. You feel so vulnerable as well. And I think doing that day in, day out, it definitely teaches you, it's definitely opened my eyes to, what's important. Sometimes I just sit, float around. I'm like, this is just amazing. Look at those stars. Look at the moon. Look at the bird flying past. And I think because it's so still and so quiet, everything almost feels brighter and bigger. And it's almost like you get a whole new take on everything I don't want to make it sound really dramatic, but it's definitely changed the way I think about things, the way I react to things too. I think that starting the day like that every day puts you on the right foot, I think. It's
changed your life, basically.
Yeah, it really has. But again, I think it's that routine. It's that getting up super early, getting out of the house and doing, getting out of your comfort zone, basically.
Yeah. And it's a great way to practice gratitude. It's great for self-compassion, or compassion in the whole, really. It ticks so many boxes. So how does it feel? How do you feel for the rest of the day? How do you think it sets you up? How do you feel? Like you say, you've done it over 400 mornings now. How are you different now to what you were before, do you think?
I think I believe in myself a bit more. Because it's, as I said earlier, it's not, cold water was never my thing. And I think I didn't think I could do it. I was sure I couldn't do it. Oh my God, there's no way you're going to do it. Oh, okay, now you're on the beach. Oh, now you've got to get your cozy on. Oh, you're still not going to do it. You're never going to do this. It was that kind of thing. And then you get to day 400 and you go, oh mate, I'm about to go back into winter. I can totally do this. I guess for me in life, I felt like I was drowning. This has kind of I don't want to use all the ocean metaphors, but it has dragged me back to the beach and gone, no, mate, you're not drowning. Yeah. Get back out there and sort it out. There are things you can do. And it has definitely led me to seek help and to reach out to people who I probably wouldn't have reached out to before. I've got this amazing counselor who guides me, and I never would have reached out necessarily to her. But I think the swimming and me realizing, wow, this is really making a difference to how I feel every day. What was going on, and actually recognizing that something wasn't right. And it's pushed me to seek help and do better for myself as well.
It's given you the confidence, hasn't it, basically?
Yeah. And I think also as a parent, you give your undivided energy to your children. And there are lots of people out there who are really good at going, no, it's mummy's time to go for a spa, or no, it's my time to go. And I've just never done that with my children. I've just always, and that's my doing, but I've never really done anything for myself since having the children. My husband's going to listen to this now. Tim's going to listen to it and go, you were out the other night.
You just shop, you do.
Oh, we've never been out. What are you talking about? No, but I do. I definitely haven't prioritized myself for the past, nearly 15 years. And I think this is another way that I've said, no, do you know what? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it every day, and I'm going to do it for myself. And if that inconveniences anyone, then I'm, terribly sorry, but I'm going.
Well, we mention this all the time, not only on this podcast, but even with the courses that I'm teaching and the workshops, is it always comes back to this, where we feel selfish, we feel narcissistic, we just feel like we're bad people if we try and take care of ourselves. And the old cliche about the mask on your face in the aeroplane, if anything happens, you've got to look after yourself first, because then you can help look after other people. But if you don't look after yourself, if you don't give yourself a little bit of time, then you can't look after anyone else. It just doesn't work like that. And that's the problem. Yet we feel so guilty for doing it. And I think there's starting to be a bit of a shift. I really, really believe believe that after the last few years that we've all had with the pandemic, we're starting to realize that we do need to just look after ourselves first, because then we are the best people to look after others.
100%. And I definitely found that everything was spiraling out of control. And I think once you lose control of yourself, and then everything else is kind of tumbling around you, it almost feels like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get out of this, hole? It totally is possible. And whether it's, like I said earlier, whether it's just that you spend 5 minutes in the morning meditating, or you go for a walk, or you knit, or whatever it is, just really pull yourself in and concentrate on what you're doing. And I think that was another thing for me that was really hard, was everyone, you should meditate, or, oh, you should. And my mind just couldn't switch it off. I was just like, oh, I can't do that. I can't meditate. I can't. And actually, I think starting the cold water swimming has then pushed me in all these different directions to, oh, okay, well, I can do that. So I'll go and ask for help now, and I'll get that sorted. And then it turns out I go and I see a psychiatrist and I get an ADHD diagnosis.
Oh yeah.
But it's all these things in moving in different directions. And it's purely because I've taken that one step and said, yeah, I'll come for a swim in the cold water with you that one day. And I've just stuck with it as if by magic, all these other things start falling into place because it is literally changing the way I feel. I've got more energy. I'm not cold all the time. I'm not catching colds. I'm not getting sick. I've got heaps of energy to carry on throughout the day, like all these different, and then thinking, oh, okay, well, now that that's good, I reckon I should look at working on that now. So it's definitely been a path for me that has pushed me further to do better, and better for me, not necessarily for anyone else, but just to go, well, hold on a second. If I can do that, then I can totally sort this out. And
not everything works the same for everyone. That's the thing as well, because you might get friends, like you're saying, going, oh, I'm really into my crystals. You need to do it. You need to do it. And you might go, it's just not my bag. It's just not my thing. Or like with meditation. And I also think the trouble, which I really want to change, is the image of meditation, because everyone goes, oh crikey, I've got to get a yoga mat, I've got to try and cross my legs. I've never crossed my legs for years, I've got to try and sit somewhere, and
I'd never get up.
No. Or I'm going to turn into a Buddhist. And it's like, no. And that's the trouble, is trying to break that myth that you can meditate whilst washing up. It's just
actually that was And that was one of the things that my counselor said to me. I was like, oh, no, I can't meditate. Oh, no, don't tell me that. And she said, just do it when you're doing the dishes. Do it when you're loading the dishwasher. It hasn't got to take any time out of your day. Just do it whilst you're doing. And I think that was a big eye opener for me, because that was like, oh, I can do that. Oh, okay.
Tiny, small.
People, but then, there's always going to be people who poo-poo things, right? There's always going to be people who are, oh, meditation. Oh, what the hell's that all about? Or, oh, cold water swimming. Why on earth would you do it? Or ADHD. Oh, everyone's got ADHD these days. I can hear them now, right? But actually, the sad thing about this, and I think about this a lot, is that we can all poo-poo stuff, and we can poo-poo, crystals or tarot cards or, ADHD diagnosis. But actually, the sad thing is, back in the day, we weren't given the opportunity to learn all about these things. And, if somebody had reached out to me as a child and said, mate, I think there's something going on here, I think you might have ADHD, my life would have been completely different.
Yeah.
So yes, lots of people are being diagnosed with things, and lots of people are finding comfort in things that they might not have, or might not have done 20, 30, 40 years ago. But actually, thank God they are.
Yeah.
Especially now. Thank God we're in a time that people find comfort in things that historically, like crystals and meditation, have worked.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I hear it all the time. I get it all the time, where people just go, oh, you just need to, well, actually, everybody has different opinions. Somebody said to me once, you just need to work out. It's all about working out. And I'm like, that's your thing. That's what you believe in. That's not necessarily what I want to start doing. And other people say, oh, you just need to live your life. Just get on with it. Just get on with it. And you think, well, again, that's fine to say that, but that also has connotations as well. Just getting on with it. That's putting your head in the sand for a lot of people. It does not work. And I remember once being in a pub, someone ordering some food, and they asked for I can't remember what it was, something I asked if something was in a certain food type, and the landlord, quite rudely after this person left, went, "Crikey, we never had any of this back in our day, did we? We just ate what we were given." And I'm thinking, that's correct. However, a lot of people back in the day suffered with all sorts of issues that they didn't know what was wrong with them.
Ridiculous.
Research gets better and better, and science gets better. And it means now that if you've suffered all your life with migraines once a month and you don't know why it happens, it's just, we hear it, especially living in a little village. Oh, thingy. Oh, he's always getting migraines. And it's just that person's known to be the person that gets migraines. Now, now we have tests and we can work out what it is, why they do that, and we can try and reduce it and stop that happening. And that's because of the way we're moving forward. Yes, exactly. So tell me a little bit about your ADHD diagnosis. When did you get that?
About 3 months ago.
Okay.
So I was actually just looking into ADHD, just sort of trying to learn more about it because I had an inkling that it was something that was, and I was listening to I got some audio books, and Gabor Mate has a book called Scattered Minds, and it's all about research into, sort of case studies of people with that. And I was like, oh, crikey, that is me. Every single case study, I was like, oh my God, that's me. Oh my gosh, I do that all the time. And I know you could probably go on Google and type in some dreadful disease and it'll show you loads of symptoms that you probably got. But but I think I've spoken to a lot of people recently with ADHD who are awaiting diagnosis. And I think for adults, there's a sense of, when you get that diagnosis, there's a sense of grief, because it's like, I almost felt sad for little me. Mm-hmm. I was a bit like, oh my gosh.
Of course, yeah.
Poor little thing.
Yeah.
Why didn't, what? Like, how did no one know? Like, the reason I can't do any maths at all, I used to get mocked for it. What? Come on. What is it?
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
You could tell me how to do it 37 times and it wouldn't stick, just things like that. And I think, gosh, there are probably lots of adults out there undiagnosed, fighting their way through every single day, this constant noise in their heads, thinking it's normal.
Yeah.
And then you talk to a psychiatrist and they go, no, it's not really what most people do. And you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But again, I never would have ended up on this path of feeling confident enough to do that. I probably would have felt quite ashamed or embarrassed, but I'm actually not at all. I just think, it is what it is. And I'm actually really thrilled to have found out that that's what it is. And
because a lot of people also say, oh, do you want to put a label on things? Do you want to put a label on things?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because, well, actually, it just helps. It's so much better to have that label, knowing that you then know what to do moving forward.
For ADHD, there is so much awesome information out there that is super helpful. If you've got ADHD, this is I found this way to organize my wardrobe. Super handy for your morning routine. Or, there's so much stuff out there that can really help you day to day, how to organize your diary, how to, I don't know. There's just so much information. And I think you don't have to have a diagnosis to access all that information. But actually, once you've got a diagnosis, you can say to yourself, you know what? That's what it is. You've got this far. Imagine what opportunities lie ahead now that you know.
Yeah.
And now that you can say, I'm going to breathe and I'm not going to react to that, or whatever you need to do. Like,
own it as well. I love it, Olivia, because you own it. It's like, do you know what? This is it. It's not an excuse for anything. It's just a great way to be able to say, this is what it is. And now I know why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that, why I react to this, why I react to that. And also for other people to know. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think also there's lots of people, I think, who hide away and who are ashamed of getting any kind of mental health diagnosis, or, I think there are so many people who think it should be hidden. And, even for a while I was thinking, oh my God, do I have to tell my employer? And, are they going to sack me? Or do you know what I mean? Like, there's all this, oh, I'm embarrassed. Oh, what's my husband going to think? Or, but at the end of the day, you are who you are, and you're not any different now to what you were I mean, obviously I'm not quite such a massive binge drinker as I was before, a few years ago, but,
And also I think that's why I love having a mindfulness practice, because it's actually given me a lot of confidence to stand up for myself as well, which comes under the self-compassion, I guess.
Yes.
And I know at Panto, we had to learn this fast patter little bit of dialogue, and the director said, let's just go over and over and over it. And I'm thinking, I ain't going to learn that by going over and over and over. My mind doesn't work like that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I need to go away by myself and almost like plan it out in my head how to learn it. And back in the days, I would have gone, okay. And I would have wasted half an hour going over it. And then the next day I would have come in not knowing it any better. And it would have been a bit of a negative situation. This year, I was just like, nope. Not going to do it. I'm not going to waste your time or their time. I need to go away and learn it. And everyone was a bit shocked, and everyone looked at me, people that I've worked with for years, kind of like, oh, hello, he's having a moment. And I was like, it's not going to work. That's not how my mind works. I'm not being a diva. But it's not how I'm going to. If you want us to learn it, I need to go away and learn it overnight, not by doing it, by running the lines over and over again. Doesn't work.
Exactly right. And you know what? That's exactly right. And that's exactly the approach I think schools need to take with children these days, because everybody learns differently. Whether you've got ADHD or not, everybody learns in a different way.
Different way. And it has to be, it's not one rule for all, one way for all. So because it's quite a recent diagnosis, how are you feeling at the moment about it?
I actually knew it was coming. And I guess the only kind of downside to it is what I said earlier. And that's basically that, it's got to the age of 42 and only now. But you know what? That's because I'm advocating for myself. That's because I'm the one that's fighting for me. I'm the one that's in control of that now. And I guess when you hit your 40s, it's a much easier time to do that sort of thing, right? So, I think when you're in your 40s, generally you're kind of settled. You've got a little bit or no money in the bank. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got a kind of a good groundwork to build from, so to speak. Whereas, when I was 18 and, running around Chichester and drinking red wine that cost £2 a bottle, I probably wasn't in a good frame of mind for that to happen. But you know what? I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. I think everything that's happened to me over the past 12 months, there are just all these little signs that just keep popping up, whether it's, a white feather, whether it's, whatever it is, all these little signs and all these things that happen. I think, do you know what? That has happened because I'm on this path to, I don't want to say discovery because I don't think I'm discovering myself, but I think I'm on a path. I'm being more compassionate with myself, I think. Yeah. And it's definitely showing in all areas of life.
Good. That's good. And also, you are allowed to feel sorry for that little Olivia. You're allowed to have that moment. That's absolutely fine. But how brilliant that she knows that in years to come, you're going to sort this out. You're going to sort it out for the best years of your life. And that's just such a lovely thing,
Well, exactly right. And I definitely didn't want to pass on any upset, trauma, whatever you want to call it, to my children. Like, I don't want this pattern to just constantly repeat itself. I was a really, really unhappy child, teen. I don't want that to be, how my children grow up and I think, generational trauma or, I think all those sorts of things are really, you have to be really careful not to pass things like that on and, stop the cycle of it happening and just starting that daily routine for me, like daily swims, just everything then started to fall into place as I was, starting to believe in myself and starting to be brave and do things that are way out of my comfort zone and commit to stuff and not let people down. And, and then all these little puzzle pieces start falling into place. But the impact it has is huge because it has a huge impact on me and my life, but it also has a huge impact on, my children because I'm starting to react to things differently or, my husband or my friends because, I'm a little calmer and I'm not so frantic or I'm not so argumentative or whatever it might be. So just making really small changes it's like a snowball effect, right? You start making really small changes,
Absolutely.
like your 3-minute meditation every day. And those small changes turn into this huge snowball. And when you turn around in 12 months time or 8 months time and you go, holy hell, like how did I get from there to here? And I didn't really notice that the journey necessarily being any different, but it's those small things. It's
a small step for Olivia, which took her cold water swimming, has changed the course of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. However naff that may sound, that small step of you going cold water swimming changed the route, the journey, whatever of your life. It really did. That's it. Full stop.
Yeah, full stop. That is it. Yeah.
And that brings me quite nicely to my little home retreat, my little upgrade home retreat.
Oh, love this.
I'm going to ask you some quick questions, quick answers.
Yeah.
Give me your favourite time of the day.
Sunrise.
Lush. And your favourite day. Do you have a favourite day of the week that stands out more than any other?
Yeah, Friday is my favourite day.
And what about a place? If there's somewhere I could place you right now, where would that be? It could even just be a step away from where you are. Where's your favourite place to be?
Yeah, no, the beach is my favourite place to be because I like the sound of the water.
Yeah. And at the moment,
I feel really grounded at the beach. I feel like when my feet are in the sand.
Connected, grounded.
I'm a big barefoot person. I like bare feet all the time.
A big barefoot person.
Definitely feel not a Bigfoot person.
That's what I was hearing, yeah. What's your favourite food at the moment? What if I could give you a plate of something, what would it be right now?
Do you know what I'm really loving at the moment? And this is probably quite a bizarre one, but I am really loving nectarines at the moment.
Oh,
because they're in season here, and our fruit and veg we get really seasonal fruit and veg in the supermarkets, and at the moment nectarines and peaches are just amazing.
And what about
cheeseburger?
I'm actually going to write that down. A cheeseburger as well on top of it. And also music. If you could play your favourite song for whatever reason or a genre of music, what would that be right now?
Do you know what I am really liking at the moment is I'm really liking Miley Cyrus's song Flowers.
Oh, yeah.
And not because I necessarily like the you've dumped me, I've dumped you, I'm going to have a go at you kind of aspect of it. More the actually all of us could take a lesson from that in so far as we don't actually need anybody else to fight for us. Like if we can't fight for ourselves and we can't stand up for ourselves and we can't take a moment for ourselves or respect ourselves, I think that is a really good, that's what I get out of that song.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can buy yourself a bunch of flowers. And I quite often buy myself a bunch of flowers, not because my lovely husband doesn't buy them for me, but because I actually want a bunch of flowers and I love them and they make me feel special. And
it's a nice
I think
thing
that's
to do.
a really empowering song in that respect.
And what about people? Would this, I think I know the answer to this, but would you, if you could have people around you right now, would it be your kids, your husband, family, friends, or would you just be by yourself?
I'd be with my friends.
Your friends.
Yeah.
Give me a scent. What's your favourite scent?
Oh, Chanel number 5. Or are you talking more about nature?
No, we've just gone straight with the expensive.
I actually love the smell of freshly baked bread.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a local bakery, and the other morning we were way out in the bay swimming, and the bakery was dawn, and the bakery were obviously getting the bread out of the oven, and you could smell it wafting across the bay. It was so beautiful. I was like, oh, I'm in heaven.
So you smell that on the bay? You smell that when you're there?
I could smell the bread while I was swimming. Yeah, it was really...
Okay. And what about your favourite drink? It can be non-alcoholic, alcoholic. If I could give you a little glass of something right now, what would it be?
Oh, I'd have a glass of Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, lovely. Right, okay.
We call it Sav here.
Sav.
Glass of Sav.
So, your ideal home retreat, time for you, upgrade. Your little upgrade would be at sunrise, on a Friday, sat on the beach with a big pile of nectarines and peaches, a little cheeseburger on the side for later. You'd be with your friends, listening to Miley Cyrus, smelling baked bread coming across that beach.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry, Martin.
Maybe a little whiff of Chanel No. 5 on your wrist, and you'll have a little glass of Sav, a little white wine.
Yeah.
That's all your favourite things. And do you know what? As I say every time, that you could do tomorrow morning if you wanted to. You could do that tomorrow morning. All those things you could do tomorrow morning. And that's what's really important. That is your list of stuff which you say is your favourite things right now. And you could do that tomorrow. How nice.
I love that.
I'll come along when you open the cheeseburgers.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll leave it for at least 24 hours because it'll take you that to get here.
Yes, exactly. Well, listen, my darling, I look forward to seeing you in April.
Yeah, ditto.
I don't know what you're gonna do when it comes to swimming in April. I mean, you're going to be based down in Somerset for a month.
Well, I went down. I was doing a bit down in not West Bay, sort of down Portland way. I did a bit of ocean swimming.
Oh, did you? Weymouth?
Yeah, Weymouth, Portland. There's like a little cove somewhere there.
Okay.
Could always jump in at Nine Springs.
Okay, wow. It's going to be interesting to find out. Maybe we should do another podcast after you've had your month in the UK and we'll find out how you went about your cold water swimming challenge.
Yes, we did a river swim. We jumped off a little bridge. There were loads of stinging nettles there.
Nice. But no sharks.
No sharks, thank God, just eels and leeches.
That's a whole other story. Right, darling, thank you so much.
No worries, thank you.
I can't wait to see you in person.
Ditto.
Thank you for talking all things cold water swimming. So that was the lovely Olivia live from Melbourne. Honestly, she has been such a darling friend for the last 25 years. I miss her immensely. But do you know what's great about social media? The good thing about social media is that you see the update, you see how she's getting on. As I say, she posts the most beautiful pictures of the sea. What I'll probably do is on my social media, I'll post a few, share some of her photos on this post with regards to this podcast, and you can see how beautiful it is when she's swimming in that gorgeous bay of hers in Melbourne. Absolutely lovely. Why not? And also, I probably should say, if you are going to do any kind of cold water swimming, as we mentioned in the podcast, do your research. Safety first. Just check everything out because you never know. Just do the right thing. Do the right thing. And I'm sure it could be a lovely new hobby. Who knows? So thank you for listening to this podcast. As always, you can catch all my dates on upgradeyourday.co.uk. My spring sunrise ramble is happening in March and the spring ramble is happening in May here in Windsor and Eton. Get yourself on the list if you would like to come along. And also my 8-week mindfulness and self-compassion course is booking. I think we start on Tuesday, the 18th of April for 8 weeks. So it's 8 Tuesdays with a half day's retreat. So please come along. It's a lovely course. I'm really enjoying teaching it at the moment. We're on week 5 now of the January course. A lovely, lovely group of 12 people just doing all things mindfulness and self-compassion. Absolutely loving it. So thank you for listening and I'll see you next time. Have a lovely day.